T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the tiger, dancing through the fire. I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
And good evening. It's Sarah Shakespeare here on Coach on Fire Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Very, very happy to have you here. It is the third week of January, so I hope you're all having a good time sticking in with your New Year's resolutions. We're going to be talking a little bit about that this afternoon, just about what you're doing to stay on track throughout your time and how that's all going for you. So we're going to be talking about that. That's going to be something that I'm going to touch on when I've told you a little bit about myself. So I'm Sarah Shakespeare. As you can hear, I am English, but I live in British Columbia in Canada, which I call my dream destination. I absolutely love it here, and it's been the most amazing few years for me living here in Canada, and I'm just going into my 18th year now. I was born and raised in England and came on holiday to Canada about 8 times before I actually moved here. So I knew a lot about Canada before I got here. I didn't realise how cold it was, I have to say, because all of my holidays had been in the summer. So when I got here in December the 16th, 2000, I didn't realise that something could be minus 40, and it was. So, that was a big, big change for me, but really, really happy to be here. I do get to visit England quite often still and keep in touch with my friends and family there. So I've still got a good connection there as well. But more about me. I've been in the health and fitness industry for 25 years. I don't always like to say 25 years. It makes me sound extremely old. But it's been the perfect industry for me to be in because it's something that I love. And I've been into sports since I was a teenager and did really, really well in different, track and field events and sprinting events. So very, very competitive in sports from a very, very young age and loved it. And when it came down to picking a career path, most of the time I feel like this picked me because of my absolute interest in everything that surrounds it. So when I was younger, I did join the gym, loved the gym environment and felt very, very much at home there. And before that, I was actually in I was going to go into the business and finance sector. That was where my studies were geared towards. And I actually did an internship one time and was very, very bored. And didn't really think that it was going to be the area for me to go into. And I was very, very interested in the gym environment and helping people. And I really, really practiced what I preach. So for me, it was really, really important for me to help people gear themselves towards goals, have a fitter lifestyle. It felt easy for me to do because I had such a great interest in it. So for me to do something that's paid me like a job when it felt like a really, really great hobby, then that's been amazing for me. So I've really, really tried to help people over the years and really get involved in everything that they've been doing from a fitness perspective and also from, the goal perspective. And so I've really, really enjoyed doing that. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, you know that I do 2-minute videos every day to get you thinking about different things. And what those videos do are give my slight opinion on different things that would come up in your life. So that would be geared towards why this show is called Create a Life That You Love. Because my whole concept behind everything that I do now is helping people to create a life that they love. Not just from a fitness perspective and from a nutrition perspective, just from everything that they want to aspire to doing in life. So that's when I got the chance to do this show and I was asked to choose a name for it. I then could see that I got this great opportunity to share what I believed that created a good life, but also it meant that I could have lots of guests on that could also help you create a life that you love. So every guest that you ever see me with, you know that they're going to help you create a life that you love on what I believe to be your terms. So whatever you think is going to be this wonderful life for you, I just know that it's going to be different to someone else. We all aspire to do our own thing, and sometimes we need the same guidance to get there, but we inspire to do our own thing. So that's what I want to help people do. I sit down with people, ask them what their, creativity of their life looks like, and then we make a plan to get there. So that's what I do. I work one-on-one with people and in groups. And this year, I'm actually going to be starting retreats here in Kelowna in BC. If you haven't been to Kelowna in BC, it is beautiful. I am lucky enough to call it home and call it my dream destination because I do very much enjoy living here. The retreat, where I'm going to have the retreat, is in a wonderful location, and the views are unbelievable. So it's going to be a great time for people that come out here. And I'm going to be doing 1 day and 3 day retreats starting in the spring. And we're going to be talking about motivation. We're going to be going through food plans, food prep, anything that's going to help you excel and create a life that you love. So that's what we've got going on for that. What I managed to do last year as well, one of the things I really wanted to do was share my story, my message with even more people. And I co-authored 3 books last year. Women Rising, Born to Be Me, and Live Out Loud. And they tell different areas of my life story and just how those stories have helped me get to where I am today and how they've helped me with the word gratitude in mind. So the first book, Women Rising, the title of that story is called How Mindset, Self-Care and Ambition Can Help You Create a Life That You Love. The second book, Live Out Loud, is called Starting and Finishing the Story Together. And it talks about my parents' 45-year journey together, who happened to pass away around the same time. And although it's a sad story that I write, I also write in mind of letting people know what a great impact those 2 people had on me in life and how that helped me get where I am today in my life with my positive attitude. And I also wanted it to show people to have gratitude for people while they're here, because you never know when the last day is that you're going to have a conversation with somebody. And I wanted people, from writing that story, to value what they had in their life while they had it there. So, and also I wanted to show the true love of the parenting and the family throughout life. So that story, lots of people I don't even know who've read the story have messaged me and said how that story has really, really helped them within their own families. So that was really great. And the most recent one that came out in November 2017 is in the book Born to Be Me. And the story is called Running on All Engines, the 3 Ds, discipline, determination, and dedication. And I talk about how those 3 Ds actually are so important in life to get where you want to be, especially when lots of people are telling you that it's selfish and it's not important and it's arrogant and you mustn't be doing this much for yourself, you must be doing for others, which I do believe. But I do believe to get successful in any area of your life, you need some discipline, dedication, and determination. So I do talk about that. I'm actually in the process this weekend, of writing the next book that's coming out in May 2018, which is called Rebel Rising. And the story, actually, I haven't released it yet, but it's going to be around me doing things that not maybe people actually agree with, not that it's a confrontational story, but I most definitely would be somebody in a room if 10 people said no and I had a yes. I wouldn't steer my no towards that person. Still, those people, I would still stand firm in my no. So the story Rebel Rising isn't really, a story when I've gone against something, but I do go against the grain in different things that I want to make a stand for. So that's what's going to be coming up in May. So I'm looking forward to writing that. I have a wonderful guest coming on this evening who I'm very, very excited to have on. I had a great conversation with him last week, and we have lots of the same beliefs about how to have a successful life and the work that it takes and the dedication and everything around it. I knew that the listeners would find him extremely interesting, like I did in that time that I spoke to him. He's got a very interesting story of what he's gone through to achieve different things in his life and, had some setbacks here and there. And he will share with us tonight how he's overcome those setbacks. Because when you think about creating a life that you love, it can't always be a smooth journey through. And I think when we talk to older people in our life, those retired folks way up there, and we talk to them and they tell us a bit how life's gone, they will actually tell us that, it hasn't gone to plan the whole time. So for me, it's really, really important that when you think about putting things together and planning and doing everything, I know that it does take some dedication and it takes some patience to do things. So who I would like to announce that I've got Odin Xavier on here tonight, and I to find him extremely interesting. Are you there, Odin?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Good.
I was listening to you speak on the radio.
Good. Isn't that good? Because instead, the other way. Could you hear me on the line instead?
I can hear you perfectly here, yeah.
Good, that's great. Well, thank you very much for being the guest tonight. I've gone over a few things that I wanted to speak about this evening and kind of get out there to everybody. But thank you so much for being a guest on this evening. I think it's going to be a really interesting interview. There's a lot of different things that I think you can share with us that can help people in creating that life that they love. If we were to meet you for the first time, Odin, what are the things that you would tell us about you that you'd want us to know about you?
Well, here's a good one. I really enjoyed the Women Rising and Born to Be Me, and the Rebel Rising. I thought was a really interesting story. I heard what happened with some of the greatest educators in your life, and so I would say that I'm intent on listening and finding out who you are, and then what we can do together to help you move to the next plateau or the next stage of the life that you would love to live.
No, I love the idea of that. I really do. That's great. What do you do? Tell us. I mean, it feels to me like you do so many different things. I don't even know where to start. So where would you start at explaining to us what you do and where you started?
Okay. Well, how about I tell you what I do on my daily basis?
Yes.
On a daily basis, I live a blessed life. I'm completely aware of the fact that I get up and I set my own clock kind of thing. I use every day when I do get up, I take a look at the calendar and I see who booked appointments with me today. And I actually have this calendar that allows people to book times with me. And when those times are done, the times are done kind of thing. Actually, I think you used that.
Yes, I actually did. I did. I think that's a great idea. It is, yeah.
What I do is I do marketing, sales and marketing, strategic sales and marketing for business owners. If you go to the LinkedIn site or if you go to Facebook, and you'll see what I'm doing is I'm in a process of constantly helping people understand where they're at in their business. So we go through 14 gaps in our business. I work for a company called the Canadian Marketing Team. And what we do is we help people understand how to run a successful business. We go through time management. We go through having goals in their head and taking them out of the head and putting them on paper. As a matter of fact, this morning we had an inner circle and we spoke specifically about how to set target market goals for the people that we work with around us, whether they're affiliates or joint ventures or so on. I work with people on systems, strategic thinking, understanding their business numbers. I help them to understand their sales processes. I help them understand effective marketing versus ineffective marketing. And I help them understand prospecting, lead generation, understanding how to leverage contacts and understand how to build databases. And then what we do is we talk about effective recruiting, training, and developing of all the people that are around us, joint venture partners, strategic alliances, as I mentioned earlier, affiliates. And of course, then what we do is we talk about how we can add more value to the business. Of course, we talk about keeping our motivation up because let's face it, getting up every day to do what we love to do, for some of us, for most of us, ideally who I work with, it's not work. It's a passion. Yeah. And so there's no issues in attending the events and there's no issues in making sure you show up for the calls and there's no issues. As a matter of fact, the issues that I have is people phoning me and telling me that they're making sales so they can't show up. So
that's good. Yes.
How can I fault
They're
someone?
They're so busy
success,
that they
right?
can't stop. Yes.
Next, I help people understand they really own a sales and marketing company because there's a lot of people out there that know they have a product and service and they identify with their product and service instead of understanding that they own a sales and marketing company that educates individuals and communicates the value and the benefit, the features, advantages, and benefits of that particular product and service they have. And so I help them keep their motivation and also understand they recognize a sales and marketing company and what that means. And it's a totally new approach to thinking about a business. And the last point that I do, and of course there's other points that I do as well, but everything kind of seems to go into these 14 points. What I do is we have a 5-point marketing system, which is generating leads,